Yes. Yeah, morning all. So before I start, can everyone please confirm whether my voice is clear, whether the screen is visible or not? Yes.
Yeah, it's clear.
So in the previous session, we had a demo session, right? So I was just briefing you about this role of Azure data engineer, data engineering products or services. Just I'll take 5 minutes what we have discussed. Right. Data engineer with the help of cloud services, work on the data and make it structured and useful. But in the case of on-premises, we need to maintain everything, right? We need to set up your own hardware infrastructure, OS installation, purchasing of database license, installation of database server, designing your database objects. And to maintain all this, we require separate teams like a hardware team, operating system, networking, security, and database administrators required. But here in cloud, everything in the cloud, we no need to maintain all this, right? No need to maintain any infrastructure, no need to maintain any license. Data engineer is responsible for smooth data flow from the source to the destination. They're responsible for preparing, cleaning, transforming, processing the data, right? Generally, like if you talk data engineer and data scientist, main job of data scientist, strategizing for the future. It's going to analyze the pattern, analyze the data, identify the key patterns, recommendations for the future, right? Data analyst, summarizing the past, analyzing the data, and visualizing the data, right? Yes. Data engineer does all the groundwork for the data scientist and analyst. Nearly 80% of this data analysis work is done by data engineers. So what data engineering involves, what are the sources of the data? What is the format of the data? How to transform data and what is the destination of the data, right? So today, like if you see data engineers in demand and the role of Azure data engineer, right? Yes. So this data engineers, they constantly keep processing, analyzing, and monitoring the data, creating some data pipelines. And data is going to be integrated with all the crucial stages of the data flow. And here the main role, like designing entire data flow architecture, designing entire data flow architecture. And secondly, creating data warehouse for the storage of analytical data, creating data warehouse for storing of analytical data, and performing ETL. ETL is the main task of the key task of this data engineers, extracting data from different sources, making it in a structured, and you can carry the data, queryable data, and load them into the company's storage service. And data monitoring, right? Making sure that the ETL is performed perfectly and data is available everywhere where required, and data security also, right? Where data is secure at each and every step of the process without any data leaks or exposures, and collaboration and communication, right? And it is constantly communicating with the business team or this data scientist to deliver the data as per the requirements. They need to have strong analytics knowledge to perform some kind of analysis, and also certain things have to be automated. So these are the roles of this Azure data engineer, right? Yes. Data engineering products or services. Azure SQL is a simple way, right? It's Azure SQL is a cloud-based RDBMS. It's a cloud RDBMS, right, of Microsoft. Data lake is a kind of file system, distributed file system with unlimited storage. Anything like structured, unstructured, and semi-structured data, you can handle any formats of files, any file formats, a Parquet file, ORC file, CSV file, JSON file, any kind of file formats you can handle in that unlimited data storage. Okay. But only thing is the relationship between the files can't be maintained, so that you can go for that warehouse where you can see in Synapse like data warehousing. You can see that big data analytics operations, integration operations, everything we can see in Synapse. Data integration, data warehousing, big data analytics, all this you can see in this Azure Synapse. Azure Data Factory, right? In a simple way, it's a cloud ETL, cloud-based ETL, right? It's a cloud-based ETL, right? Of Microsoft of Azure, right? And ADF, it's a zero coding ETL, no coding is involved. Everything we can perform drag and drop. So we have got a UI, specially designed UI available where you can whichever transformations you want, and we'll create a data flows here, right? So all the inbuilt transformations we can use, right? And Azure Databricks, one more major thing, right? In this Azure data engineering, right? Where you can have the entire control within the from the cluster, and also you will be writing the code for it. So here everything based on this Spark execution, very high speed processing. So I was talking about Spark processing. Spark is an execution model with very high speed, processing huge data in quick time, right? Yes. So it uses a cluster. Cluster means a group of systems connected in a network. So depending upon the load, data load, right? It is going to auto scale, increasing the system's cluster capacity, and whenever again comes back to the original size, again whenever required, it will auto scale, right? And Cosmos DB, it is like just like a NoSQL databases as we see, right? NoSQL database, just like NoSQL database, right? Like MongoDB. So it's a cloud-based NoSQL database, means a schemaless behavior, record to record, different number of columns or fields can be maintained. The case of SQL, right? The case of SQL, from first record to the last record, same number of fields we have to maintain. But in the case of Cosmos DB, record to record, any number of fields can be maintained, schemaless behavior. We go to this Azure streaming. It is a event processing at the rate of speed at which the events are generated at the same rate of speed. We need to process it. So it's an event processing engine for analyzing and processing high volumes of streaming data. Streaming data means, what do you mean by streaming data? Data which keeps on incrementing, data which keeps on generating. Such data we call as streaming data from multiple sources and again simultaneously, right? Yes. And Azure Key Vault, anything like securities, passwords, all this, right? Yeah, this Azure Key Vault. So secure key management and protecting the data in the cloud, uh, small secrets, passwords, everything, right? We'll be storing here. Yeah. If I come to this, the main discussion in here, ADF, these three things, right? Azure Data Factory. So if you want to enter into the company, right? As a ADF developer, you can enter as a Databricks developer, data engineer, right? And okay, so as part of this course, our main discussion will be like Azure Data Factory, Azure Databricks, Azure Synapse. Azure Synapse. Apart from that, you will be getting the knowledge about this. Yes. Okay. You'll be getting knowledge on this Azure SQL, Azure Data Lake, Azure Cosmos, Azure Streaming, because this, as a ADF developer, as a Databricks developer, as a data engineer, right, you are going to communicate with this Azure SQL for storing, creating tables, retrieving data, storing the data in the tables. In Data Lake, working with files, taking that input from your files, reading the files, writing data to the files, everything in this data lake. And here NoSQL, right? Working with NoSQL and this data warehousing, right? And streaming. So you'll be getting the knowledge about all these things, right? So these are the main services. Engineering products are services. If I come to this Azure Data Factory, right? Okay. Just check with this. ADF versions. So for example, ADF versions and the differences. Okay. Two versions. Mainly we see two versions, but first version, version one, ADF version 1, ADF version 2, ADF version 2. See, version 1 is not supported now. It is not at all not supported now. But I'll just say give the difference between version 1 and version 2. Version ADF version 2, how it was made much flexible, right? How easy it is and how flexible it is as compared with ADF version 1. ADF version 1, you need to have lot of other knowledge. You should be lot of other technical skills you need to have. You should be expertise in different other technologies, right? In ADF version, but in ADF version 2, everything got rectified. It is made very flexible and very simple, right? So if you see the difference in this version 1, version 2, ADF version 1, mainly if we talk ADF version 1, I said generally we perform ETL, extract, transform and load, right? But here in version 1, it is used to perform EL only. It is used to perform EL only, extracting and loading only, but not ETL. I'll say one, but not ETL. There were no built-in transformations. There were no built-in transformations available. There were no built-in transformations. So if you want to perform any kind of, okay, you can perform, but to perform, okay, to perform transformations, yes, to perform transformations, right? Some additional services were required. Some additional services required, such as, one by one I'll discuss, right? In ADF version 1, what is the knowledge, expertise you need to have? First thing is, you need to have knowledge on this ADLA. You need to have knowledge about this ADLA. What is ADLA? Azure Data Lake. Azure Data Lake Analytics. Here, if you observe here, analytics. Analytics are done by USQL. Understand here in Azure Data Lake Analytics. Here analytics are done by USQL. Again, what is USQL? USQL means Unified Structured Query Language. Unified Structured Query Language. Don't think it is not equivalent to SQL. Don't think it is not equivalent. Basic SQL, no. It is not equivalent to basic SQL. USQL is totally different, right? So you need to have the knowledge about Azure Data Lake Analytics. And that again, you need to have knowledge about USQL because analytics are done by this USQL, this version 1. Secondly, you need to have knowledge about HD Insights. HD Insights. HD Insights service. HD Insights is nothing but Hadoop Insights. Hadoop Insights. Yes. So Hadoop is a distributed, right, cluster computing. Hadoop is a distributed computing cluster. Same. Big Data Hadoop framework. Same Big Data Hadoop framework in Azure Cloud. It's called HD Insights. HD Insights. So if you talk in this transformations, if you want to perform, just here we have a data flow language. Here we have a data flow language. Apache Pig. Here we have a data flow language called Apache Pig. What do you mean by data flow? Data flow means sequence collection of pipes. Sequence collection of pipes. What do you mean by a pipe again? A pipe is any data operation. A pipe is any data operation, such as loading a data, any data operation, loading a data, transforming a data, filtering a data, merging data, sorting data, aggregating data. Same thing, a pipe is any data, you can perform any of this operation. At each pipe, different transformations. At pipe 1, your data extraction. In pipe 2, data cleaning. In the pipe 3, creating a new fields. In pipe 4, filtering. In pipe 5, aggregations. At pipe 6, again writing the output to the target. So it's a sequence collection of pipe, as I said, right? At pipe, at sequence collection of pipe, data flow, just like Apache Spark is Apache Pig is also a data flow. At pipe 1, if for first pipe, data extraction, the output of one will be the input to the next one, data extraction. And at pipe 2, right, the output of the previous one will be the input to the next one, data cleaning, and removing the unnecessary fields, all those things, right? Yes. At pipe 3, I want to generate new fields, generating new fields. For example, based on salary, generate fields like tax, HRA, net salary, right? At pipe 4, at each pipe you will perform different like filtering operations, filtering based on city, based on product, based on different thing, right? Condition wise to filtering. Pipe 5, performing what is the total revenue, average revenue, max revenue, min revenue, right? In this way, if you want to perform some kind of aggregations. At pipe 6, so in this way, finally writing your output to the target. Yes. Using Apache Pick, this data flows are written and transformations are performed. So Apache Pig is one of the best scripting language where how simple 100 lines of Java 100 lines of Java code we can write within 6 to 7 lines here in Apache Pig. That is the easiness of Apache Pig. It had a great boom actually, Apache Pig. Now later in area version 1, not only this, you need to have knowledge about this Azure functions. Third one, first one is you need to have the knowledge about ADLA, Azure Data Lake Analytics. Secondly, you need to have that knowledge about this HD Insights, Hadoop Insights. In that mostly for transformations, we used to use Apache Pig. And next comes Azure Functions. Azure Functions. these Azure functions are very complex to implement, And Azure Databricks, you need to have the knowledge about Azure Databricks. And you need to have the knowledge about stored, means in version 1 I am talking. In version 2, all these are not required. Stored procedures. To perform all these transformations, observe, to perform all these transformations, you should be a developer. Should be a developer first. That too should have expertise in all the above mentioned. USQL, that is USQL. Secondly, like the pig scripts, Azure functions. See, pig scripts means who develops pig scripts? Is generally who develops it? By Hadoop developer. Azure functions, complex coding. Generally, Azure functions by .NET developer. Azure Databricks. This Databricks, again, you need to have the knowledge about this Spark by Spark developer. Stored procedures. By SQL developer, right? Yes. So you need to have all this knowledge, right? You should be expertise in all the above mentioned these things, right? Pig scripts, whenever required pig scripts, you need to go with the pig script. Azure functions, Azure Databricks, stored procedures. If your company wants pig scripts, you need to know about this pig scripting. So the main, I said, the main thing, pig can process all varieties of data. Pig can process all varieties of data. It can process anything. That's why the name pig. What about the dirty data? Pig can process. Okay. Next, in ADF version 2, okay, before I go with that ADF version 2, this is the problem. This is the problem, right? This is the problem in ADF version 1. ADF version 1, this is the problem. So understood, right? Because you need to have a lot of other knowledge. You should be expertise in a lot of other things, right, to perform this. Later, Microsoft recognized and decided to make a ETL tool. Decided to make a ETL tool with zero coding. So Microsoft recognized this problem and decided to make a ETL with zero coding. That's why they launched a new version. They launched a new version, ADF version 2. ADF version 2. ADF version 2 is a zero coding. It's a zero coding ETL. It is a zero coding ETL. Even if you talk previously, we used to have some tools for ETL, right? Informatica. Previously, if you talk Informatica, do you think you used to write at least some scripts like in SQL? Previously, Informatica, right? Yes. 80% drag and drop you used to do. 20% writing SQL scripts. You used to write 20% SQL scripts. But here 100% drag and drop only. You won't write any kind of SQL scripts also here. It's a zero coding, right? Because of this zero coding, it has got high, what is that, boom for that ETL area. So based on even multiple terabytes of data, huge data also, it is able to process now with a great speed. So this facility is available in the version 2. Especially in version 2, some new features were introduced, some new features, right? If we talk about this ADF, right, especially in the version 2, the version 1, like, okay, but in ADF version 2, ADF version 2. So you can use that if you want, you can all features of version 1 can be used. But additionally to that, you've got the concept of data flows. You've got the concept of data flows. Okay, where data flows, right? Any kind of transformations you can perform here. Inbuilt transformations, no need of, and also you've got concept of Power Query. You've got the concept of Power Query. See, this data flows, right? Many inbuilt transformations. 1 second, I'll open this Chrome. So just I'll show you like how to get a free subscription for this Azure, right? Free subscription for this Azure. Step by step. The tomorrow session, I'll just brief you. So just I require email, a separate email ID. Yes. One email ID, mobile number, credit card. Credit card is just for your identity verification, not for, it is just going to take, it is just going to take 2 rupees from your account, from this credit card account, right? And just later again, it is going to credit it back. Again, it will only just to, just for identity verification, it is going to take your credit card details. So free subscription, some services are free for lifelong, some services are free for 1 year, some services are free for 1 month. So whatever this data engineering services I was saying, like Azure Data Lake, Azure Databricks, Azure Synapse. See, this is the developer tool. Later I discuss brief about all these things. See, data flows. This is the data flows and Power Query are the new things you got in this version 2. Data flows in Power Query. You see that importance of this data flow. If I want to create a new data flow, just everything drag and drop, I said. Everything drag and drop. So I'll just add a source. I'm adding a source, right? Now, if you observe, see all the transformations you'll be able to see here. Plus, can you see joint transformation, conditional split, exist, union transformation, derived column. You want to derive a new column, this one. Select aggregate if you want to perform aggregations, pivot, unpivot. All these transformations, rank, flatten, parse, filter, alter row, all these transformations are available, right? So all this, for example, I want to filter, just a filter will appear, just drag and drop. Filter came here. The filter output I want to connect to another transformation, right? Anything like union will. So in this way, just you can provide the conditions. This way, any kind of transformation you want, the output of one will be the input to the next one. Any kind of next select transformation. In this way, you can keep on connecting the things. Drag and drop. No need to write anything, right? So data flow and this Power Query are the new things which I've got in this ADF version 2. So with this, the things we can perform the things in a very flexible manner. And previously, you may ask in version 1, there was no for data flows. For data flows, I said Apache Pig is a data flow language, I said. So for data flows, previously in version 1, right? What was used? Apache Pig. Apache Pig Latin language was there. We used to use that. So we used to writing pig scripts, writing pig scripts for complex data flows. Alternatively, used Databricks. Used Databricks. So in ADF version 2, no need to use all this, right? We don't need to use all these things. Directly in data flows, just now I showed, you can drag and drop, perform the transformations, required transformations. And generally people ask, okay, ADF, Databricks, okay. In this data engineering, right? Data, as initially you can go into the company, you can step into the company like a ADF developer. But Databricks, right? It has got a great boom today. That too with a combination of PySpark. Especially we'll have high packages for this, which will add some weightage for your resume if you see that word PySpark. Yes. So as a developer, here as a developer, we develop data flows. We develop data flows. Okay. When you run the data flow, when you run the data flow, understand one thing. Data flows, ADF data flows, ADF data flows are internally converted to Databricks jobs, to as Databricks jobs. And are executed by Spark cluster and are executed by Spark cluster. So here one thing, okay, your data flows, whenever you run it, data flow, they are internally converted to Databricks and are executed by Spark cluster. You no need to write any Databricks or this. You no need to write any Spark code here. You're not writing any Spark coding here. Automatically, the data flows, whatever you drag and drop, whenever you run them, internally they are converted into that and then executed, right? Yes. You no need to worry about this. So this zero coding is involved. Everything done by this Spark everything, Spark execution is going to happen. And Databricks cluster, within the Databricks cluster, Spark execution is going to happen. I said, right, Spark, very high speed processing, in-memory computation, storage and processing, everything happens in the memory level. And also MPP, massive parallel process. Your data gets distributed across multiple systems, processed by multiple systems parallelly, means multiple systems. Their data is getting distributed and data is processed by multiple systems parallelly. So because of this very high speed you are going to see. Spark, the speed of Spark as compared with other disk processing, right? 100 times faster, is 100 times faster than other processing system. That's why. So here we'll be discussing Spark. Spark is a multi-language support. It has got multi-language, but the language we choose here is Python. So Spark with Python with like PySpark. Just got a great domain. Totally here, total execution is happened by using this PySpark. PySpark execution. So in our course, even this PySpark is going to be covered. So I'll be discussing in brief about all this PySpark, especially data frames, many data frame functionalities, right? Yes, fine. You can check many working examples, right? For each and every component. Just once you check this course content. Yes. Yeah. In brief, in depth about this. First overview about all these Azure services, right? Keyword Azure Synapse and Azure Data Factory. This is the pipelines, creations, linked services, data sets of different file formats, activities, different types of activities, right? Is and triggers, since scheduling, tumbling, storage events, integration runtime, right? That's all this. And if you come to this data flows, what is data flows? Different types of data flows, one by one with many working examples. And I said in the entire area of course, nearly I'll be discussing about other 50 practical examples, these things, what I'm going to discuss. 50 these practical examples, how to use get metadata, bulk copy data, how to integrate key vault in area, how to use integration runtime. So all this you can check. And coming to the Databricks. So before I go with the Databricks, I'll give the prerequisites. I'll provide you the knowledge on this prerequisites, like providing the knowledge on this big data, Hadoop, Spark. Means only the basics are required, not that in-depth knowledge about this. And coming to this Databricks cluster management, displaying, starting, terminating, deleting the clusters, types of clusters, Databricks pools, Databricks without pools, Databricks with pools, cluster mode, and also Databricks utilities, integration with different components, handling file formats, Databricks batch processing, historical loading, data transformations, Databricks streaming API, Databricks lakehouse, Delta Lake, creating Delta tables, performing DML operations, SCD slowly changing dimensions, type 1, type 2, workflows in Databricks, Azure Synapse, overview of pools, using Azure SQL Analytics, right, to query the data lake, Azure Storage, Azure Synapse, triggers, incremental loading and notifications, deep dive into this copy activity, data flows introduction, Spark pool introduction in Azure Synapse. Everything in brief. You can just compare this course content. So I said, so mainly Azure Data Factory, Azure Databricks, PySpark, and Azure. These are the main things will be discussed. Apart from this, you'll be getting knowledge on this Azure SQL data lake, Cosmos DB, and streaming, right? So every time the offerings from my side, each and every session video, right? You'll be, even if you miss any session, right? You can just go to the recording of it Attend the next session for the better understanding. Everything hands-on. You can do parallelly along with me, the tasks, right? Everything, no, nothing theoretical, everything practical. You can do parallelly along with me, the tasks. Whenever you get any error, you can share share screen option. And wherever the installations, configurations, everything looks very simple if you're doing parallel along with me. Yeah. And clear soft copy of the notes. Soft copy of the notes, clear notes will be provided. Assignments and tasks to work so that to build confidence, right? Assignments or tasks. A WhatsApp group separate from my side. I'll be creating to have direct interaction with the students. If any errors, can take the snap of those errors and keep in the WhatsApp group. I'll be answering. Anybody can answer. I'll be answering, right? Yes. And topic-wise interview questions. These are what will be session videos, hands-on, and all the sessions will be interactive sessions. So whatever we performing the task, right, you will be responding. All the sessions will be interactive, right? Yes. So yes, yeah. Interview questions, resumes, resume preparations, right? So all this course fee, right? See, generally, if you observe, if you are going separately, if you want to learn this Azure Data Factory, Databricks, PySpark, all this, right? So each one is a 6,000, 6,000, 6,000, 6,000, 6,000. It goes for 24,000, but there's an offer for this batch. So this entire package for 12,000, right? Apart from this, you'll be getting knowledge about these things also, right? So this entire package, Azure Data Engineering, this Data Factory, Databricks, everything, the course fee is 12,000. And you can see as compared with other sites, PySpark also will be discussed in our content. You can see that especially this PySpark has got a high boom today. So you can see in the chart the contact details and the payment details. Tomorrow the link will be changing. So you are supposed to get enrolled to get the link to your mail IDs. So the contact details of this online team is provided. So the three contact details and the payment details. Okay, and the Google Pay and Phone Pay details, right? And yesterday, if you have missed the sessions, right? The last session, you can just go to that demo video, right? The links are given. It means for the first 2-3 sessions will be kept in the YouTube, but later you'll be getting from the first video onwards, right? It will from tomorrow onwards, you'll be getting the video to your Google Drive, and notes you'll be getting daily basis. Notes will be getting to your mail address, and tomorrow a WhatsApp group will be created and you will be added to the WhatsApp group. Same thing, right? You can see the course content of AD and ADF kept in this a message given by this online team. If you can see that message, the payment details, course content details, demo video details, their contact details, everything is kept. Timing of the session is fixed, right? Yes. There is no change in the timing. Yes. Neeraj Sharma. Same 9 o'clock it starts, 9 to 10 will be the timing for this batch. Yes, I want to say, right? Yeah. So immediately after, see this, after starting ADF, immediately after 1 week or 2 weeks in any other batch, like Databricks is getting started, you can attend parallelly. So if you doesn't want to go, the duration of this course goes to around 3.5 months, right? It goes for around 3 months to 3.5 months because we are discussing a lot of things. So if you want to go parallelly, you can go parallelly to decrease the time bound. Yes. And mm, mm. If you miss any other sessions, if you miss any sessions, or if because of some shift change or because of some other reasons, you are unable to continue, right? Even you can attend any of my other batch, right? Evening batches or morning batch, right? You need to pre-intimate about it, right? Yes. So all the sessions will be interactive. Any queries immediately you can ask. Everyone will be kept in unmuted status. You can unmute yourself. You can ask query directly during the session. If you got any queries related to the previous session, at the start of the session, you can immediately ask. You can share your screen because you will be doing the tasks. Yes, a lot of notes I'll be providing for you, right? A lot of notes will be provided, not a worry, right? See this. This is area of notes. Can you see this? This is the area of notes. But for your batch, again, I'll be recreating your own notes. This is that area of notes. Topic wise, it will be given, right? And this is area of notes only, not entire data engineering. If you to go with Databricks, right? ADB, batch wise, that notes, Databricks notes. This Azure Databricks and PySpark. Everything will be clear, point to point, it will be discussed. Right? Similarly for Synapse. So in this way, notes for this Azure Data Factory, Databricks, and Synapse, it will be provided, right? Not a worry about it. Someone asked about the material, right? Yes. You will be getting the video, notes, assignments and tasks, a WhatsApp group. Everything will be shared in the WhatsApp, right? Fine. So get enrolled for getting the link. From tomorrow, we'll be starting with the actual part. So first, we'll go with that Azure subscription. Okay, like just one mail ID you can create. You can have one mail ID, one mobile number. You can keep it handy for creating this Azure free account, right? Credit card or debit card also fine. Even debit card also it is going to work. It is not going to charge, just a 2 rupees it takes.
It will be work on debit card. It is only for credit card.
Debit card also it works.
Okay.
16,000 credits will be added to your account. Whenever you take any free account, 16,000 credits will be added to your account. You can use it in say 1 month. 1 month will be that. Within 1 month, you need to use it. Means any services you can use it, you can charge for that also. Everything will be free. Even if you're once you're working with the free trial, right? Not even a single rupee will be charged until you go with the pay as you go mode, right? So all this I'll be briefing you about the things, right? Yes, yes. Today is the demo session, right? So previous sessions also you can go through, right? Even if you're not attended, right? So from tomorrow we'll be starting with this the first one, ADF. First we'll be going with ADF, Databricks, Synapse. Yes.
So what
So it's,
about Python? Python it is required for PySpark, right?
so PySpark, Python syntaxes. Before I go with the Databricks, I'll be
Okay.
discussing the syntaxes of this Python. Okay, fine. So if I'm done with your queries, I will sign off for now. Meet you tomorrow, same time at 9 o'clock, but the link will be changing and get enrolled for getting the link. But one more thing, here you can see in that online, DurgaSoft online, they have given a message here. Generally, people, they'll pay the fees, they will get enrolled, but they'll forget to share the details of it. So they're clearly saying that send the screenshot of your payment for the confirmation to that mail ID, which is the mail ID durgasoftonlinetraining@gmail.com. So from which mail ID you are providing that to the same mail ID, they will be providing you the link and also give you the drive access, Google Drive access will be given. So don't forget, try to provide that. And tomorrow we'll continue at same time, right? Thank you all for your time. Thank you. Meet you tomorrow.